Hey y'all, welcome to the Filling Station. It's a new day, another opportunity to make money in the market or to just learn from the market, right? So let me go ahead and give my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth, and the stock market is just one of those avenues. This video is for educational purposes only. With that being said, y'all, let's get started. So we are looking at the VIX, and as you can see, the VIX has created a gathering spot right here for us, right? So the support at this point is $17.90. Our resistance is right here at $18.03. So the VIX can break out in either direction. Let's say if it breaks above this 50 EMA and 20 EMA, which is right here at the $18 and let's say 15 cents. If we break above this, then the VIX can come back up to the $18.98. And keep in mind that $19.56 was an area of, we've tested before, we've come back to this area before, so the VIX could very well come to the upside. Now, with that being said, we could also come to the downside because we're trading in that zone. So if it breaks this $17.90, we could very well come down to $16.89. And I always like to look at the VIX just so that it can give me an idea of how the SPY is. And that's not always the case because sometimes it gets a little bit different, right? So to the downside on this 1 hour chart for the VIX, the 1770, if we break that, 1705 is the ATR trailing stop on the 1 hour. Or the 1599 is the 200 EMA on the 1 hour. So those are things that we have to be mindful of to the downside. Now, if it decides to go, to the upside, then this 20 EMA right here at $18.17 is doable. That could take us back up to the $19 range, which will in turn make the SPY trade down, right? So again, anything is possible. I always say, trade what you see. So looking at the VIX, we're going to go to the SPY. So it looks as if the SPY has been trading in this, and this is the 1 hour right here. It's been trading in this zone for a while. It's been gathering here since 4:15. This has been our area here. And looking at it on a higher time frame, we can see it a little bit clearer that we really hadn't made 506, I believe, was the high. And once we hit that 506, it seemed like we came all the way back down to 502. So it seems as if we're trading in this zone. And to me, that's kind of hard to make money going up and down that way, in my opinion, right? So right now, our support for the SPY is right here at 504.54. Our resistance is right here at the ATR trailing stop at the 505.79, meaning we have tested this area twice. We could very well come back and break through this area, which will send us to the upside. However, we do have trouble at this on the daily. There's a ATR trailing stop on the daily that we will have to break through in order to continue to the upside. So if the SPY breaks above 507.19, know that we have broken through an area of resistance, and we could very well come back and test this 508.81. That is possible, let's say that. Or we can continue to the downside. Let's say and right here at this 504.54, that's an area of support that I will need to watch. If it breaks below this area, we are under the 5 EMA. We will be under the 50 EMA and the 20 EMA. So if we break this level of support at the 504.54, we have broken through a few layers of support. And right now, the 5 EMA is our resistance. So we're kind of like right there at that. There's our resistance at 504.15. Our support is at 504.48 is our support. 505.15 is our resistance. It's so close to each other. And if it breaks that area or those levels, then we could very well either go up or down. So we're at a very interesting place that we will definitely need to watch and wait on other confirmations. I always say wait on other confirmations before entering your trade. So we do have a few inside day candles today. NVIDIA is one of those. So I'll give the triggers to NVIDIA first, meaning if it breaks above this level, this is our area, our price target. So 881.18. If it breaks above 881.18, which we have tested that 1, 2, 3 times already pre-market. So it looks like we're trying to head in that direction. If we break above that, then a 906.13 is our target to the upside. And right now, our support area is right here at the 874.93. So 874 873, I'm sorry, 87372. If we break below this area of support, we can come down and test this 866.79. Now our downside trigger is at 860.64. If we break that amount, that number, then our downside target is right here at 859.29. Anything is possible with NVIDIA. Right now we're trading in that gathering spot. It could go up, or it could come down. Let's see if we have any upside. And I always say, where am I going to have trouble? So that 881.18 is right at the 200 EMA. So if we break that, we've broken through some strong resistance. And if it could very well come up to this 886.44. If we break that 886.44, I can see the 906.13 target in reach. To the downside, that puts us above, again, the 5, the 50, and the 20 EMA. So we have a lot of support under us for NVIDIA at this point. But y'all, I always say anything is possible. Let's look at the downside. If we break this 873.72, we know that the 860.64 is a trigger, and the 859, let's see, 859.24. 859.29 is a trigger, it's a target to the downside. So say, for instance, we break that, we come down under that, then 844.26 is our support, and that's the 200 EMA on this 4-hour chart. And keep in mind, NVIDIA moves $32.42 per day. So it can move in either direction, $32. I would say be careful. And as you can see on this daily chart, we are just trading sideways, really. Seems like it's trying to come down, but it kind of puts us back in this area, this zone here. And looking at it on this daily chart, we are under the 5 EMA. We're under the 20 EMA. So right now that, that level of 874.66 is our resistance. So that's something to be mindful of. If we break that level, just know that we have broken through a level of resistance on the daily chart. And that 20 EMA is right there at the 876, around the 876.33. Let's see. Yeah, 878. If we break above the 878 area, we have broken through. No, let's see. It's kind of hard to see those when it's like really close, really close. So it's 877. If it's around there at the 877.75 range, if we break above that, we have broken through strong resistance. 874, 877, we have broken through strong resistance. I always say trade what you see. If you trade NVIDIA, I would watch those levels and be very, very careful. Netflix is another area, another inside day candle for us. If Netflix breaks above 622.45, then the target is 630.17. If it breaks below 607.50, the target is 603.87. And as you can see, it is creating a gathering spot for us here. We've already tested this target. This trigger here. We made a high of 623.50, and we've tested it again. So that's the second time it's hit this area of resistance. It could very well break through and get to that target of 630.17. So I would say if you trade Netflix, be very careful and trade what you see. I will mark those levels. It looks like we're going to have trouble right here at the 631.28, which is right above the target to the upside. And right now it kind of shows us that it's trying to go up to reach that target. Our 5 and 50 on this 4-hour looks like it wants to cross to the upside, but when the bell rings, anything is possible, and it could definitely change positions or directions really, really quick. So Microsoft is another inside day candle. If you trade Microsoft, if it breaks above 418.40, the target to the upside is 426.82. If Microsoft breaks below 413.73, then the downside target is right here at 413.43. Now our ATR trailing stop is right here at 413.63. So we have 413.63, 43, 73. So those are numbers that we know if we break below that, we've broken through a level of support, and it's probably going to go to the downside for Microsoft. But right now, it looks like it's trying to break out of this gathering spot here. As you can see at this 417.12, it looks like it's tested it a few times. The more times it tests that area, it seems to make it a little bit weaker to where it can break through. And if it breaks through the 418.40, then know that we're going to have trouble at the 420.33. That's a 200 EMA. So we could very well have trouble there, right? That's something to be mindful of before we reach that 426.82. So let's look at Boeing is also an inside day candle. I can give the trigger point for Boeing, which we've already reached the target to the upside, as you can see. If Boeing broke through the 170.64, then our target to the upside was 171.18, and we just tested 171.50. So that's why I really like marking the inside day candles, because it kind of gives us an idea of how the stock could trade. Right now our 5 and 50 looks like it's trying to cross to the downside. So let's look at if it comes down and break below the 167.75, then the target to the downside is 167.53. And it looks like we've already, like I said, we've already met the target, reached the target to the upside, and it looks like it is coming to the downside. So if you trade Boeing, I would definitely be careful. It's finding the support is right here at this ATR trailing stop 168.71. If it finds support here, we can bounce back, or we can continue to the downside. Allow the charts to show you what's going on with it. It seems like we have a lot of trouble ahead on this 4 hour for Boeing. It got rejected here at this 20 EMA at the 171.53. It tested it, got rejected, broke through the 5 EMA, and 173.99 is the ATR trailing stop to the upside. That's a trouble place or resistance. And the 50 EMA 176.33 is another trouble place for resistance, and the 189.27 is another trouble place for our resistance. Boeing moves $3.86 per day, and as you can see, we have declined on this 5 EMA, and we were under the 5. We have declined riding the 5 is what I'd like to say, and it seems like we're creating a gathering spot here. So on the daily chart, if Boeing gets above 171.86, then we have broken through a level of resistance on the daily chart. So I would watch that area carefully if I traded Boeing. So I just put an alert to let me know if it's above that area. So again, Boeing is an inside day candle. Let's look at AMD. AMD is breaking out of a gathering spot. This is our area. I always try to go to our 4 o'clock candle, and our support at that time was at the 162.78. Our resistance was here at 163.57. Well, we have broken through another level of resistance, which is at 164.23. AMD could very well come up and test this 165.66 here. And that's a 200 EMA, and this is the 30-minute chart. So to the upside, if we break through, we can continue going up and have trouble at the 166.32. Let's see where that 200 EMA was. 165.66, 165.66, 166.32. We know those are trouble places for AMD, and the 200 EMA is at 169.73. So that's another trouble area for AMD. So that's something to be mindful of if you trade AMD to the upside. We have trouble at the 20 EMA 164.13 on the 4 hour chart, and on this, let's see, 50 EMA at the 4 hour chart is at 168.08. So we have a little trouble to the upside. Let's see how much AMD moves on a daily basis. It moves $6.85, and right now we are under the 5 EMA on the daily chart. It looks like it's creating a gathering spot for us, so we can break either to the upside or to the downside. So if AMD breaks above 164.79, keep in mind that we could very well come up to the 174.36. That's something to be mindful of. Now to the downside, if for some reason we get rejected on this 5 EMA, which is at the 164.23, we could very well come down to the 143.74. That's something to be mindful of. Let's say that, right? So if you trade AMD, I always say mark your levels, wait on other confirmations, and trade carefully. And when your trade goes against you, get out. That's one of the things that I had to learn the hard way. Set your stop loss, get out. It's okay. It's okay to take a small loss versus blow your account because you didn't have the discipline to get out. And with trading, it's about discipline. So I'm going to go back to the SPY just to see where we are. Again, we're back at that zone. We tested that 505 area, and we're back down, finding support here at this 20 EMA and the 50 EMA. So if the SPY breaks under this 504.74, or really, this 504.50, that's an area that I'm going to put an alert to let me know that we have broken through an area of support. So I always say, excuse me, trade carefully, y'all. Be very, very careful. Don't get tricked into your trades today, knowing that go to a higher time frame and see how we're trading and, what direction the market is moving on that particular ticker. Go to a higher time frame. I can't say that enough. So y'all, I hope this video is very, very helpful. Very helpful. So I always like to leave you with this, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. Let me say that. Thank you so much for just taking your time to watch and learn with me. So when I look at the markets, this is what I see. And, I look at things from a different perspective sometimes. So I'm like, okay, I know I am an overthinker, but I like to figure things out. And I think that's why trading is so interesting for me. And again, I am a visual learner. I just like to look at it and try to figure it out. But I hope that everyone have a profitable day today. And even if you don't make money in the market, you can use this as knowledge to learn how to make money. I always say knowledge is powerful once it's applied, right? So if you could please like, comment, share, subscribe, and all of that good stuff. Y'all have an awesome day today. And I always like to leave you with this: be blessed as well as a blessing unto others. Until next time.